So, hi everybody, how you doing today? And don't worry, that was just me with a different voice, a little bit, just a little bit of a different voice. So, anyways, today I am gonna go over my experience a bit with certain stuff. Today I'm just gonna go over like what I experienced, as in like how I win, how I lose, and were there times that it was on my fault, on my end. Yes, there were times it was my fault on my end, and no, it was not every match. There were just only instances where I recognized that it was on me. The only time I own up to my mistake is when I noticed it personally, and I know I could have done better, and it's just I flipped up. Okay, basically, how do I lose usually? A lot of people say you win majority of the time with this hero. Unless you're a person like me, the simplest hero can be your downfall of where you're going. For me, the most of the time, the majority of my loses on support was alone Mora. I know you're thinking like, how is Mora the one that gave you the most loses? That's because my decision making on Mora. I'm not a good Mora main. In fact, I am terrible at Mora, so it's kind of why I never play Mora for a majority of the time. And the only time I use it is if it's like out of hands, or I need to put in my own hands, or just I need to. It's one of the roles is lacking on what they're supposed to be doing. And trust me, even then, there's nothing I can do to fix that mess. In case it's just something wrong with one of the players. One of those things. Another, how do I is there any other heroes that can consider lost? On certain heroes, yes, there is a way to lose. That's called like not knowing what you're supposed to do. I had no idea what to do on Baptiste, so the best thing I could do is heal, 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 and I know that I know some people who play or Baptiste mains go like crushing me like, what are you doing? You know you're supposed to hit, right? I have not practiced my aim completely. Let's just say on DPS. Yeah, I've not done my homework. So it's I kind of quit playing Baptiste after a while. I play him. And between 17 and 16. Yeah, season 18, I barely play him now. Yes, just this season. I only played like a couple times. That was it. Is there something wrong with no communication? Absolutely, there is something wrong with no communication. You don't have to communicate with Mike, but you do need to listen to anyone who is actually vocal. Like, for example, like they even calls like Reaper's on the roof, or Mercy is in the middle of the air, being an easy pick for a Widow, or Ryan health low, or Junker Queen out of position, or more on flanking, or I hear footsteps from Bastion on the right side behind Mercy. Reaper's about to ult, I think. Alori is about to ult, I think. Those kind of comms, basically those communications. Or sometimes you're talking about yourself, where you're going. Okay, I'm gonna go flank in the corner as Ouyang, or Mercy. I am healing you as a moment tank. I'm damage boosting damage boosting soldier. I'm damage boosting Diana. Those kind of comms. The comms that will usually lead to like the losing most of the time though is it's it's your fault, tank. Why can't you get enough damage? Or, hey Mercy, what's wrong? You have the lowest health in the team. Not lowest health, lowest alien in the team. Those are the two you two are. Or something like, Tank, what are you Rekmo, what are you doing, man? Well, it's supposed to be working with us. Or people just mention someone's stats when they're not even toxic. Yeah, although yes, I'll admit there were times I did that. But not very many times. The only time I do it is if the person was the worst stats, or not worst stats, just more of like the worst survival rating, and their mistakes happen to be a bunch. And a lot of people notice one person's one minor mistake over someone's like 5 major mistakes sometimes. And unfortunately, it usually happens towards tanks, where the tanks are doing great, and then one DPS or one supports just end up going like 11 and 40, basically. And still people will just blame the tank. Sometimes people will just not even notice the tank is doing a lot more than it looks sometimes, I mean, we're same with the supports, because that are like a lot of people would respect them, has so much healing that it's like winning a lottery ticket. But in reality, winning the lottery ticket, you need to like think about it before you actually try and attempt it. And when you don't think and try, it's just you're gonna have a lose, very likely. I have people complain about my healing because, well, one of the heroes that played was Mercy, basically, and my parties are not healing, basically, completely. I only heal when I need it to. I don't heal if someone is like full health or is just out of bounds. And trust me, there are going to be some players out there who just, no matter what you do, they're going to be behind a wall where sports cannot reach, even if they try to adjust to where they can reach. Because somehow that player that complains about heals was all of a sudden all the way at the spawn point where nobody can save them. Not even a Life Weaver. Not even a Mora. Not even a Zenyatta. Not even the most healing character like Life Weaver, like I said. Yeah, it just, some people will just make dumb decisions. And sometimes supports don't understand that you can't really focus on healing them half the time. I mean, there's some people, let me set up a scene where, okay, for example, the worst support combo is on the enemy team, which is, at least in my opinion, is the newest combo, is Mora and Wu Yang. I mean, it is just a prediction because I personally never do it, and for what I know, the only time I think I did it, it led to a loss. It's because there's just not enough resources to keep the team alive, and both of you are technically can flank. And when there's no communication, it's just going to be messy, and the blame was just called to all the supports. But while on the team I'm on, or you guys are on, as support, you have a support who doesn't appreciate you, even if they realize they had to prioritize DPS over that support. Which would mean that support should go grab a health pack rather than complain. But some supports never really play Tracer or Wrecking Ball, so all they're going to go like, heal me, heal me, heal me, I'm right here, heal me, heal me. Ink Monk's words. When someone complains about heals when they're not even in the right position, it's like, heal me or something. You got you end up being Mercy, while the support on your team who didn't appreciate you of all heroes was Amora, who can heal herself. And for her to survive with attacks, grab a health pack. Strange, ain't it? Huh? Amora's like, heal me! Heal me! When let's just say you got 2 DPS who are low, a tank the tank is supposed to be with the Mora, and the Mora is just roll out on her own like she is supposed to be some type of Tracer, Wrecking Ball, Doomfist, Reaper, Venture. You know, the heroes that have flankers, basically. And where even, and the Mora doesn't even, when she was also low health. Even if you could technically heal the Mora, but the DPS and the both DPS didn't have as much time to come back. Because they had to, like, stay where they're at because they had to deal with a Wrecking Ball 24/7. While the support is just choosing to go after the supports when it should be with the tank, taking them out. And leaves you vulnerable to just 2 DPSs. You can see the problem there, is it? A 2 DPS struggle to take care of a tank only because they weren't really protected much. Well, more a case of they weren't healed much. The Mora should have been with the tank, but the Mora chose to flank instead, on her own. Think who's gonna die mostly quickly? It's the Mora. And even then, you'd rather keep DPS alive because there are more of what's gonna help you than the Mora would. But even then, you still gotta hold that Mora heals the DPS if you're gonna damage boost it. Mora for a bit. Basically, the tank is the only one who isn't struggling, basically. So the main struggler is right now DPS, but the Mora is making it worse. I know you're questioning like my logic here, but look, I'm setting up a scene and I'm trying to help. As I understand a bit, the difference between a good support and a bad one. Mora was being a bad support, where she prioritized herself over being with the tank. Crazy, huh? Okay, let me set up a scene where the situation is different. Okay, you're playing Zen. Well, not playing Zen. I'm sorry. You're playing Baptiste. Your support pal is Life Weaver. Your DPS are Venture and Tracer. Your tank is a Sigma. The Sigma and the DPS are in good positions. The Life Weaver is the only one with low health, and no one came back to help the Life Weaver. So, what do you do then? If it was this situation, would you, one, go protect the tank anyways, so, despite the fact that DPS got the tank's cover, or 2, go back up your other support and help them out. Get rid of the annoying Reaper. 2, it's number 2. You honestly want to go back and help your support. If your tank and your DPS are not even struggling once, that's what you do. Your hand. You see the difference between what's a bad support and a good support happen to be? It's not because it's a mercy is bad. It's just sometimes it's you, sometimes it's your teammates. You know that. Let me set up scene where the problem is your hand. Let's see. The tank is Diva. Your tank. The enemy tank is Roadhog. Your DPS on your team are Bastion and Ash. The enemy is Reaper and Soldier. The enemy supports are Ana and Ilori. on your team, your other support is a Mercy. You are Life Weaver. Tell me what's the problem right off the bat. Oh, the Life Weaver Mercy combo? Yeah, that is automatically a problem. Especially in a situation where Mercy has both pockets to worry about. Let's see, now let me set up a situation where it makes more sense. Mercy is pocketing the Ashe while being near that bastion. The tank is at the front, dealing. Well, the tank is on the flanking side, making sure the Reaper gets put back in the. Well, just making sure the Reaper isn't going to go flank anybody. The soldier is just running around looking for health because his health was low. The enemy soldier. The supports are looking for the soldier because the soldier need to come back. The enemy Roadhog noticed you. It has a good record of being able to catch you with a hook. And your positioning is on the opposite side of where your team is. And let's make this seem better. You had time to move with your teammates back when you're on defense. The enemy team is on offense. What's the problem now? You! Right there. You're the problem. You had time to go with your teammates backing up so you don't get caught by the Roadhog. But instead, you chose to just stay there and look for a diva to heal, rather than move yourself out the way. I know some of your comments are like, but the Life Weaver is healing! What's the problem with that? It's your positioning. Like, think of an example. You don't want... If you're a Mercy and you get put in a bad position by a torture, and the only person, and she had every opportunity to move backwards instead of forwards, so she went forward and she died. So, you see the problem there? Do you see the problem with the positioning? Yes. Yeah, now you understand why I said positioning is sometimes noteworthy sometimes. Or if you need a better explanation about what bad positioning looks like, then look up a YouTuber that mentioned his worst match. Where he isn't like very judgmental, but rather just more of, mentioning how mistakes people made in the match sometimes. Okay, since I already set that up, now let me set you up what a good DPS and bad ones look like. Let me think. You're on a flashpoint, and basically, your tank, who is a Reinhardt, is coming with Mercy, and while you and the Venture, you happen to be Reaper, or flanking each other, and the other support is getting in position, ready to sleep someone. But tell me who's in bad positioning, right before we talk about bad and good DPS. Believe it or not, it's Mercy. Mercy should be with the Ana in this case, because there is no way she will survive with a Reinhardt. And if the support wasn't Ana, but rather Kiri, that makes more sense for her to be with the tank. But it was one of the supports that Mercy can pocket. See how bad that is? There you go. That is our example of what bad and good supports look like. So yeah, you can technically say Mercy left on her own. But it's not the honest fault in this one, basically. Set up 3 examples from different point of views. So let's just start with good and bad DPS on the DPS point of view. Okay, let me set up a scene. On your tank, Winton. went out for the supports. Kiri teleported to the Winston to take care of the supports easily. Not Mercy. Lucio was left on his own, basically. But he was going after the Widow. While you, as Tracer, are flanking around, working with the Lucio to get the Widow quickly. And then your other DPS, who is Reaper, chose to try to get rid of that one tank. Harissa. Who's the problem there? I'm pretty sure you guys can already guess on this one. Because obviously, it's the Reaper. The Reaper should not be flanking on the tank yet. It doesn't have backup. He could get killed easily. Or even worse, the door debugged, basically, for making a bad mistake like that. Because I know there are some situations where it's good, but he's a mind, the tank and the supports are not there to help him. So that's a bad one right there. Now let me set up what a good DPS looks like. At least in positioning wise. Hold on, I'm gonna stretch this a little bit longer, a little bit. Let me see. Okay. Let me set up this. You got a Juno, who's with the tank of yours, happens to be, what's his name? Oh yeah, Malga. Then the other support, Liana, is also focused on the Malga. You are a soldier, keeping on your other DPS. Your other DPS happens to be a Tracer. And the Tracer is moving into a position that keeps you safe. I know that sounds stupid, but just roll with it. Is there any problem with the team this time? In positioning wise? No. No positioning problems. Yes, and who is likely to carry? Well, it's Tracer and you. Like, look. Tracer is a flanker character, and all you have to do is just, in case you get low, you can run away. It's fun, ain't it? Sorry for the good sum. Anyways, let me put what a bad DPS looks like in a different point of view. Let's see. Let's go with the tank for perspective. Let's see. You are Doomfist, and you're trying to create space for your team. Your supports, Juno and Ouyang are stuck together, making sure the DPS are alive. One of your DPS, Venture, is staying with the supports. Your other DPS, Sombra, is flanking. What's the problem here? I know you're going to be questioning, like, why am I mentioning this person? Venture is the problem. You remember what I said earlier? We lied about what kind of character Venture is. Venture's a flank character. She should not, well, they, or whatever, should not be with the supports. Supports all have to do to keep themselves alive. Because Zombra health packs, and Venture can keep herself, hurt their cells. Give me sorry for my pronouns bad situation. I'm not fully awake. Sorry about that. Now, let me put in perspective what a good tank and a bad tank looks like. Your tank is Zarya, and she makes sure that while she's protecting herself, but she also makes sure that her teammates are not left behind. The DPS are Cassidy and Venture. Two combos that would feel weird. And believe it or not, Cassidy is working with the Venture on this one. Because how passive the team is. The supports, Ana and Brigitte, are helping the tank out. Is there a problem there? Well, yes, there is technically a problem, but it's not a problem that's bad. Because if it was a situation where the tank can readily create space by flanking, Cassie would have been the problem. But in this situation, it's fine with what Cassie is doing. Let me set up a bad tank in your hand. Let's see. Your supports are trying to get rid of Zombra, with one of your supports being Brigitte, and your other support being Mercy. Mercy brought out a pistol, shoots at Zombra. Though Zombra did escape, the enemy Zombra just chose to come back and go after the supports anyways. Your DPS, Tracer and Zombra are flanking to hopefully get rid of the rest of the team, because the Zombra is not even paying attention. While you, Wrecking Ball, went back, asked for heals. What's the problem? Is there a problem? Yes. What problem is it? Is it A, the tank is asking for heals when he shouldn't be? B, the Wrecking Ball's leaving the DPS behind just for heals for no reason? Or C, the supports are in a bad position? I'll give you a few seconds. Think of the song that gives you thinking mode. If you say A and B, that's correct. The tank Wrecking Ball went back for no reason, asking for heals when supports have no time for you. And also it left the DPS behind, making them vulnerable to a 2v4. Now you see the problem with the tank, the bad tank looks like? It's what style they do. Let me put the bad tank perspective on a different role. So, from a different perspective, different role perspective. So, your supports are, you support happen to be playing Kiriko. You're looking for somebody to teleport because you're in a bad position. Your other support, Mora, has to tend to your DPS because you're more suitable to keep on the tank. The DPS are Thera and Echo, and they're helping them more out by taking care of those while in planking style. Your tank is 1v3 and on a Bastion and a Mercy, while your tank happens to be, what's the tank called? Oh, D.Va. What's the problem here? It's your tank. Your tank should have not be 1v3 people. It should be having you to help her out. But instead, she just chooses to pretend she's vulnerable, and you know what happens next. You die, it's not even on you because your D.Va refused to help you out for no reason. And D.Va just chose to flank at a bad time. Where instead of flanking just Bastion, it just flanked the supports with a Bastion. So yeah, that's a huge problem you think about, because what good D.Va would just flank to a 1v3? Especially if your Kiriko is in danger. So yeah, that's about it. Now since I mentioned from a different perspective what a bad of each role looks like, let me do a different perspective of what a good role looks like. Let's see. Let me set up the one for tank first and then down to supports. So basically, you're playing DPS. Your tank, who happens to be Maga, chose to work with you because you're a Bastion. And Nikasti chose to work with you. While the supports are dealing with a Reaper, which is and you got let's see, Ana and Mora. Is there anything bad what's going on? No. even if the problem shows up eventually, but it's not right off the bat, and there's nothing wrong with what's going on, because if I tell you what the enemy team's running, you're just gonna be like, oh, good, oh, okay. I was worried about to say it's just a support problem. The enemy team is running Mercy, Life Weaver, Earthen Reaper. It's also running a, let's see. Oh yeah, Widow. Widow, and your tank. The enemy tank is running Winston. You can tell right off the bat who's gonna win. It's a 3 versus the 4. Yeah, they're all low health. Yeah. Yeah, basically. Yeah. And reason why it's a good tank is because, readily, the tank is helping you out when you need it most. That's all that matters. When you need the most help, the tank comes back and let's see. You're playing tank, and you're noticing that an enemy team are easily being like killed by someone. You look at who it is. It happens to be the Widow. Your other DPS is basically looking for health packs, so so herself and the supports have more survivability. And your supports are running Mora and Wu Yang. Yeah, it's the worst combo, at least in my opinion. Probably predicting the future. So, is there any problems? No, because it means you just have to just take out the one enemy left that Widow happens to not kill, or just chill on the point. Yeah, basically you're just the princess now on the point, payload or point, whatever you call it. So yes, you get a cup of tea, tank. You get a cup of tea. Now to okay, you're playing DPS. You picked soldier, not soldier. Hanzo. And you know right off the bat that you're going to need help. And the Mercy pocketed too. Your other DPS runs, let's just say May, for a change. Your tank happens to be Orisa. And your other support is Ana. Is there any problems? You'd be surprised, but no. No problem here. I know that some of you are going like the problem is no one's keep on the May. But May can keep herself alive. Like, come on, let's be real. She can keep herself alive. And she'll be with the tank anyways. So, and Diana is going to keep eye on the YouTube. I mean, not YouTube. The May and the Orisa. So, yeah. No problems here. No problems there. Okay. Now, I think that's it for now for a video because I don't want to make this too long. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video and have a good day.